Hi everyone, preparing for Russian state exam. In this video we will talk about writing part and how to avoid some pitfalls in it. To begin with, one of the typical mistakes students make is misunderstanding the topic. And it is not necessarily your fault. Sometimes it happens because the topic is not related to your prior experience and knowledge. Have a look at this example. Digital literacy is the key to success in any occupation. How often have you wondered about the role of digital literacy in your life? If you haven't done it yet, probably today is the day. This topic happened to be the most challenging for exam takers this year. How challenging? Challenging enough to cost them 14 points out of the total score. Under this video, you can find some more demanding topics from recent years. Since they have already been used in the exam, you will not see them in your exam papers, but they will help you to prepare for the exam and see what kind of topics you may be expected to write about. Another typical mistake is asking a rhetoric question, like who is right? The problem here is that you are not writing an evaluating essay where you are writing about different sides and which one is stronger, which one is not. You are writing about your point of view and you express it solely. So don't pose any rhetoric questions. They would make that you make a stylistical mistake. Another mistake to avoid in fourth paragraph, in counter-argument, when you are writing why you disagree with opposing point of view, do not use the following structure. However, I disagree with this opinion. Since you are writing a new paragraph, it becomes not clear what reference you make and what do you mean by this opinion. Also, do not forget that if you have used two arguments in contrasting points of view, you need to use two counter-arguments. Do not try to cover two arguments by one counter-argument. It would mean that your task is incomplete and it would also cost you some vital points out of your total score. Finally, when you come to conclusion, try to look back at what you have written and especially as the topic. Make sure that your conclusion is related to the topic. Have a look at this example. One should read about historical sites before sightseeing. To sum up, I would like to say that sightseeing is wonderful and we should cherish the memories about those nice places we have visited. Sounds like a nice conclusion, doesn't it? The problem is that it's not related to topic. It's not about reading before sightseeing. It's about sites in general. And in the second example, in conclusion, I want to say that it's a debatable issue. Everybody must decide themselves that they need to find some historical information. The major mistake done in that part is that the writer does not express their personal opinion. And they still write that it is debatable and everybody must decide. No, you are writing about your personal opinion and what you think about reading before sightseeing. So try to make sure that your conclusion reflects your opinion and is related to the topic of the essay. All in all, writing the essay may be quite challenging if you are not using proper style or writing off topic, as it often happens in counter-argument and conclusion. And don't pose rhetoric questions. That's a mistake as well. Another part of the writing task is a personal letter, which seems much easier, but still there are some tricky parts in it. For example, this kind of question. A double question, who and how often buys food in your family? Quite an easy one, right? The problem is that some exam takers tend to answer only to one part, who or how often, and forget about the second. In these examples, in our family, my mom goes shopping. We do not have any information about how often it happens. And the second one seems to be right, but it is marked as incomplete because in one sentence the writer is trying to answer to two questions, who and how often. So writing my mom usually buys is not enough. You are expected to write a complete answer to each part of the question, who and how often. And finally, there are some simple rules I would like to recommend to use in both parts of writing. Don't forget that there is strict word limit. You should not write above it or under it. Also, remember that in front of you there is the plan of writing and you should always stick to it. When you write a paragraph, make sure that it comes from the plan and it's not just some random paragraph you felt like writing. And remember that exam is the time to show off your knowledge and to do your best, not to experiment. So keep it simple and good luck.